Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take your curiosity, grab the sources you send us, and really boil them down to what's important.
Exactly. No endless scrolling. We do the heavy lifting for you.
And this time, you, the learner, pointed us towards something pretty interesting. The Amazon page for Emily Henry's latest novel, Great Big Beautiful Life, the Kindle edition specifically.
Right. And an Amazon page, it's kind of like a microcosm of the book itself, isn't it? You've got the pitch, the stats, the critics, the readers, everything in one place.
So that's our mission today. We're diving into this page to unpack Great Big Beautiful Life. What's the core idea? How's it being received? What's all the buzz about? Have you ever been grabbed by a book that seems like, okay, it's a romance, but maybe something more is going on underneath?
Definitely. That's often where the best stories are.
Okay, let's get into this premise then.
So the setup for Great Big Beautiful Life is pretty compelling. You have these two writers, Alice Scott and Hayden Anderson.
Okay.
And they're basically rivals,
Yeah.
competing for this huge opportunity
Which is,
to write the official biography of a very reclusive figure named Margaret Ives.
okay. A famous recluse. Always intriguing. So how does the competition work?
Well, Margaret invites both of them to her place for a month, like a trial period.
Sure, 1 month trial. Wow.
Yeah. And at the end of that month, she'll pick just one of them to tell her life story.
That's intense. Like a literary bake-off or something?
Sort of.
Yeah.
And there's a catch. Margaret only gives them bits and pieces of her story, not the whole picture,
Teasing them.
maybe. And crucially, they both have to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement.
Meaning they can't talk to each other about what she tells them.
Exactly. No collaboration,
Yeah.
no comparing notes. It completely isolates them in their task.
Okay, that ramps up the pressure significantly. And it makes you wonder about Margaret, doesn't it? Like, why set it up this way?
Right. Is she testing them? Or maybe trying to control the narrative, even get different versions out there?
The description even hints at that, saying the biography itself. It could turn out to be a mystery or a tragedy, or maybe this grand love story.
Yeah. It suggests her life isn't straightforward, and how it's told really matters. Huge potential there.
Definitely. Okay, so stepping back a bit, let's nail down some facts about the book itself.
Sure. The author is Emily Henry. Big name. #1 New York Times bestseller, mostly known for romance.
Right. And the book title, Great Big Beautiful Life, it came out April 22nd, 2025.
We're looking at the Kindle page. As you said, print length is listed as 427 pages, so it's a decent-sized book.
Published by Berkeley. And this is interesting. It's a Reese's book club pick.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a huge signal.
Yeah, that guarantees a massive audience right out of the gate.
And it shows. Instant #1 New York Times bestseller. And it's currently, what, #3 on the Amazon charts this week?
Number 3, yeah. So clearly people are buying it and reading it. It's landed.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have this intriguing premise, this competitive setup. The author's reputation. What are the critics saying? The editorial reviews seem pretty positive.
Overwhelmingly positive, I'd say. The New York Times piece is pretty striking. They called Henry a new standard bearer of the genre.
Wow. That's major praise. Not just good book, but setting a new standard.
Exactly. And the Boston Globe kind of echoes that, talking about her skill with creating textured novels, real characters, even inside that boy meets girl framework, making you believe in the connection.
Nice. It suggests depth beyond just plot mechanics.
Then you've got authors praising it too. B.K. Borison calls it a sweeping love story, but also thoughtful, moving, and deliciously tender.
Deliciously tender. I like that.
Me too. Callie and Bradley focuses on the plot, yeah, but also how love kind of guides the characters through life. Well, she calls it a labyrinth.
So the romance isn't just fluff, it's tied into the core themes of navigating life.
Seems like it. Laurie Gilmore mentions the dual storylines, which we can guess is Margaret's past and then Alice and Hayden in the present.
Right, that makes sense.
And she specifically calls out a delicious, slow burn romance. Beth O'Leary also highlights the chemistry between the main characters, Alice and Hayden, presumably.
Okay, so slow burn and chemistry are popping up. Key elements for romance fans.
But what really stands out to me, even with all this romance talk, is the publisher's weekly review, starred review.
Great.
They call it a stunner. And they say it starts like a charming rom-com, but then evolves into something more. A hauntingly beautiful meditation on what makes a life well-lived.
Whoa. Okay, that signals some real substance, moving beyond the genre expectations.
Totally. And Library Journal, another starred review, recommends it if you like slow burn romance. Okay. But also The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Oh, interesting comparison. Evelyn Hugo is all about that complex hidden life story spanning decades, big emotional reveals.
Exactly. So that comparison suggests this book might have a similar feel. Epic scope, maybe? Emotional depth?
Could be. Book List, also starred, talks about a delectably witty tale and endearingly quirky, thoughtfully nuanced characters.
Witty and quirky. Good signs.
And Kirkus mentions both the steamy romance and a moving look at the sacrifices people make for love.
So yeah, the critics seem unified. They're seeing romance, sure, but also wit, depth, compelling characters, and maybe a more profound exploration of life and love.
Okay, that's a strong critical consensus.
Right.
What about the actual readers, the customer reviews? How does that stack up?
Also very strong. The overall average is 4.4 out of 5 stars.
And how many ratings is that?
Let me check. Over 14,500. So quite a large sample size.
Yeah, 4.4 from that many readers is definitely significant. What are they highlighting? Amazon usually has that AI summary bit.
It does. It says readers really loved the dual storyline structure, how Margaret's past is woven with Alice and Hayden's present. They found it seamless and impactful, lots of emotion mentioned.
Okay, so that structure is working for people, not just a gimmick.
Apparently not. The writing gets a lot of praise too. Brilliant, magnetic, people talking about it being heartwarming, but also having unexpected twists.
Twists and turns.
Yeah.
Keeps you hooked.
Yeah. And that phrase, slow burn spicy romance, comes up again in the reader comments, so seems like it delivers on that front.
Good to know. What are the characters?
Readers seem to really connect with them. Delightful, well-developed are common descriptions for Alice, Hayden, and presumably Margaret too. Some people also mention finding parts of it cautionary or relatable, hits close to home maybe.
Interesting. Any dissenting voices? It can't all be perfect praise, surely.
Well, it's overwhelmingly positive, but yeah, a couple of notes. One reviewer felt the initial spark between Alice and Hayden wasn't quite convincing enough for them.
Okay, fair enough. Initial connection can be subjective.
And another reader thought the ending felt a bit rushed.
Endings are tricky. But these sound like fairly minor points in the grand scheme of things, given the overall rating.
Seems that way. What I found really interesting was the type of reader enjoying it. Someone mentioned they usually read, like, darker stuff, thrillers maybe, but they were totally smitten with this.
Oh, nice. Crossing genre lines.
Yeah. And another reader really appreciated that it wasn't just about the main romance, but explored other kinds of love too. Family, friendship, maybe love of work. It wasn't specified, but broader than just the central couple.
That suggests a richness to the themes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so both critics and readers are largely on board, highlighting the blend of romance, compelling story, good writing, and emotional depth.
Exactly. Now let's dig into those popular highlights. You know, the specific lines lots of Kindle readers mark.
Ah, yeah, those can be really revealing about what truly resonates. What's the top one?
The biggest one, highlighted by almost 3,000 people, is, "Love isn't something you can cup in your hands, and I have to believe that means it's something that can't ever be lost."
Wow, that's quite profound. What do you think that means in the context of this story with the dual timelines and all?
Well, it feels like it speaks to the enduring nature of love, maybe. Perhaps Margaret's past loves still echo in the present. Or it's about the hope that the connection forming between Alice and Hayden has that kind of permanence. It suggests love as something bigger, more fundamental than just feelings.
Yeah, like it transcends time or circumstance. That fits nicely with a story potentially spanning a lifetime. Okay, what else?
Next one, highlighted by over 1,300 readers. There's an old saying about stories and how there are always 3 versions of them. Yours, mine, and the truth.
Oh, okay, that one hits the nail right on the head, doesn't it?
Directly. It's basically the premise of the book in a nutshell. 2 biographers, Margaret's own perspective. Where does the actual truth of her life lie?
Exactly. It questions the whole nature of biography, of storytelling itself. Can we ever know the real story? Or are we always dealing with versions, interpretations?
It really leans into that ambiguity. Whose story are we getting? Alice's? Hayden's? Margaret's carefully curated version. It makes the reader an active participant almost, trying to piece it together.
Yeah, it taps into that fundamental question about subjectivity and perspective. Fascinating. Is there one more?
Yep, one more significant one, about 800 highlights. It's important that I play this cool fact. I have never played it cool in my life.
Huh. Okay,
Yeah.
that's different. Sounds like insight into one of the main characters. Alice, maybe?
Almost certainly Alice, I guess. It's relatable, right?
Yeah.
That internal monologue of trying to seem composed when you feel anything but. It gives her character instant vulnerability and maybe hints at some humor.
Totally. It suggests she's not just a serious writer-competitor. She's human, maybe a bit awkward. It adds that quirky element the reviews mentioned. grounds the story.
Yeah, balances the potentially heavy themes with some lightheartedness and personality.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, looking at this Amazon page, this deep dive,
Yep.
what's the final picture?
Well, it seems Great Big Beautiful Life is really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Based on this snapshot, you've got this high concept premise, the competing biographers, the reclusive subject. That hooks you in.
Right. Then there's the promise of a deep, potentially epic life story from Margaret, full of secrets and different perspectives, plus that Emily Henry signature, a central romance that's apparently a slow burn with real chemistry.
And the reception reflects that blend. Critics are praising the depth, the wit, the emotion, even calling Henry a standard bearer. Readers are connecting strongly, loving the dual timelines, the characters, the emotional journey, and yes, the romance.
The highlighted quotes really underscore those key themes too, the enduring nature of love, the slipperiness of truth in stories, and the relatable humanity of the characters. It all paints a picture of a book that's both entertaining and thoughtful.
So hopefully for you, the learner, this is giving you a really solid feel for what Great Big Beautiful Life is offering and why it seems to be resonating so much right now.
Which kind of leads to a final thought, maybe hit something for you to chew on.
Go for it.
Given how central the idea of different perspectives is, here yours, mine, the truth. How much do our own viewpoints, our own biases, shape the stories we tell ourselves? About other people, sure, but also about our own lives.
That's a deep one. How reliable are we as narrators of our own experience? How much do we curate our own stories?
Exactly. So something to think about long after you finish the book, or even just this deep dive.